Good morning, everyone. We're so delighted to have you with us this morning. I'm Sharon Bryant. I'm the Associate Director of the Harriet Tubman Center. And we always like to begin our programs with the land acknowledgement. We gather as Binghamton University on the unceded lands of the Haudenosaunee and Onondaga peoples, present and past. We honor with gratitude the people who have stewarded the land throughout the generations, and we commit to being better caretakers of it. I want to recite a poem that I wrote when we opened the Harriet Tubman marker, and I think it really speaks to us launching our Freedom Trail. Erasure. Footsteps crisscrossed, blood shed, births without paper trails, names unuttered, film exposed. No statues, no plaques, only silence records our pain and triumph. Waves whispered, ashes gathered, winds blew traces of, trees bowed under the weight. Daisies know the truth. No statues, no plaques, only silence records our pain and triumph. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. And thank you to everyone who's here today. Great turnout. I hope you can hear me in the back. Pat, can you hear okay back there? Excellent. There's so many people to thank today. First, let me thank the people who are here for recognizing this enormous achievement on Harriet Tubman Day as we open the downtown Binghamton Freedom Trail. There's been a lot of people involved in this. We have several people here who will be speaking specifically about it, but let me name all the people who have been involved in this project. And starting with Governor Kathy Hochul for her financial support of this in last year's state budget, Secretary of State Robert Rodriguez, County Executive Jason Garner, from the Governor's Office Harris Weiss, Omar Sanders from the Empire State Development Corporation, Mayor Jared Cram from Binghamton, he's here with us today, Assemblywoman Donna Lepardo, State Senator Leah Webb, and Roger Luther, the City of Binghamton Commission on Architecture and Design, as well as Donald Hall and Matt Winston, who is here today. This project's been a long time in the making, but it seems to have gone fairly quickly. We were here just about a year ago. I want to thank Ann also for being named one of the inaugural fellows of SUNY's Black Leadership Institute last week. Because of projects like this, I think Ann is going to be a tremendous asset to her peers across the SUNY system. And my thanks also go to the many students and colleagues across the university who played a role in this as well. Governor Hochul and our partners in state government, including Senator Webb and Assemblywoman Lepardo, were also crucial in funding this project. In addition to the Tubman statue and the markers on the Freedom Trail, Binghamton University faculty and staff are also going to develop educational programming on this topic for students in local K through 12 schools. And welcome to the fifth graders from Woodrow Wilson. Thanks for being here. It's about noting the importance this area played during the time of the Underground Railroad. It's about documenting the dangerous quest for freedom that many people embarked on, and about documenting the many people who made that journey possible. The Freedom Trail is also about today, and it's about tomorrow. These markers should serve as a reminder that we are still forging paths for diversity, equity, and inclusion in our country. History happened here, yes, but the future is going to happen here too. And my hope for the Freedom Trail is that these markers will tell us where we've been while also giving us a path forward. That foundation will be laid on the Tubman Center's central principles of fighting for equity in education, employment, and all areas of our society. And again, I want to thank for all those involved to celebrate this project. And shortly we'll hear from Ann for more on the trail's exciting completion and the announcement status about the Harriet Tubman statue as well. But right now, I'd like to welcome Mayor Jared Cram from Binghamton to the podium.
Well, good morning, everyone. President Stanger, Dr. Bailey, Dr. Bryant, thank you, and it is truly an honor to be here for today's event and the unveiling that we'll be doing. And as the President mentioned, about a year ago, we were here talking about the promise of a new downtown Binghamton Freedom Trail, a project that would take the important work of the Tubman Center, bring it into our city, making it more visible and accessible to community members. And today we're celebrating the trail's official opening. We're here, the fact that we're here today is a testament to the vision, hard work, and dedication of Dr. Bailey and her team. And please me again, join me in thanking Dr. Bailey, Dr. Bryant, and everyone involved in this. Through the downtown Binghamton Freedom Trail, we are shining a light on our community's anti-slavery and civil rights history. We're telling stories that, frankly, for too long, were untold. And in doing so, we are changing how we as a community represent ourselves and talk about our past. Last year, I spoke about the fact that for too long, Binghamton has been associated, and sometimes with the most hateful parts of American history. Growing up here and during my time in public service, it seemed there were regular reminders of this area's infamous history with racism and hate. We can't erase or gloss over that reality. But Binghamton past is so much richer on the right side of history. The local people and places that played remarkable roles in movements like emancipation and civil rights. And thanks to the downtown Binghamton Freedom Trail, that history is now being told and resourced and celebrated, shared with future generations. As I said, we have an ability to involve the community. And today is a group of elementary students from Woodrow Wilson who are living out exactly what the promise of this Freedom Trail was, educating the next generation about Binghamton's key role in civil rights. They will be the very first people to walk the downtown Binghamton Freedom Trail. And like everyone who comes after them, these young people will have an opportunity to learn about Binghamton's ties to the Underground Railroad and the Civil Rights Movement. And it's hard to overstate that impact. The city of Binghamton played a small role in this, investing $100,000 to support the Freedom Trail project and expand the reach in the community. That investment was to make sure that kids like those students at Woodrow Wilson would grow up learning the stories of people like Harriet Tubman and Bud Fowler and Stephen Hand. It is my hope that for decades to come, this new Freedom Trail will educate and inspire the next generation of change makers, maybe some change makers who are already in the room with us today. So, Dr. Bailey, thank you again for bringing this vision to life in downtown Binghamton. I was on a Zoom call with Dr. Bailey and Dr. Bryant, which seemed like not that long ago, when this was just an idea and just a vision, and today that vision comes to life. The city of Binghamton could not be more proud to play a role in this, and my thanks to everyone involved, and really looking forward to this Freedom Trail opening today. Thank you so much.
And the person who led a large team to pull this all together, Professor Ann Bailey. Ann?
Not so large a team, but in the sense that the community has been so much a part of this project, yes, you have all been a part of this project, and I want to thank you. And I also want to thank specifically Dr. Bryant, Nicholas Seca, Amanda Ortiz, and several others who have interned or worked with the Harriet Tubman Center and helped us to make this possible. But today, I mean, I could go on and on about thank yous, and there are so many to thank, and I am really grateful. But today, I really want to focus on my fifth graders. Is that okay, everybody? I'm specifically speaking to my fifth graders today. And just, again, I can't say enough, as both President Stenger and Mayor Cram said, we really welcome you here, and you are so welcome. What do I want to say to you today? I want to tell you that when I was growing up, and I was growing up on the island of Jamaica and in New York City, I grew up in both places, and I didn't know very much about the places where I lived. And so as a result, I didn't know very much about my own identity and who I was. I really didn't know much about Jamaica and how people of African descent got there, and I certainly, as an immigrant to New York City, didn't know much about New York City, and didn't learn much about New York City. In school, we learned a lot of good things, but it was really about faraway places. Interesting places, but far away, nothing to do with me. And so the theme of what I want to say to you today, and I hope you take this with you, is that your story matters. Your story matters. And where you live and your local history matters. And those are shoulders on which you stand. And as has been said, you're going to make your own contribution as well. So when you see some of those names like Harriet Tubman, and you see Stephen Hand, and you see Elias Hawley, some of them are the names of your streets, you're going to say, wait a minute, what did they do? What did they do? Many of them really fought for freedom, for equity. They fought for justice. And in many ways, I'm hoping that you will also seek to do the same. So when you walk these streets and you see these little green markers, green and white markers, I hope you will realize this is your story. This is an ongoing story, and you're a part of it. You're a part of history, too. The second thing I want you to do, fifth graders, I want you to look around you right now. Everybody, just turn around, turn around. It's okay. If you need to stand up, stand up. Just stand up for a second and take a look around you. Are you looking around you? Okay. I want you to know that there are some wonderful people here. You've met some of them with fancy titles. There are presidents, there's a provost, there's vice presidents, there are faculty members, there are undergraduate students who go to Binghamton University, there are graduate students, there are staff, there are community members. What I want you to know is you're in this building, which is a part of Binghamton University, is that you belong here. You. How many of you right now can tell me if you're thinking about college or you'd like to go to college? By a show of hands. Am I seeing some hands? All right, let's give them a hand. Excellent, excellent. And when I say college, I mean either going to university or pursuing a trade, which is also a very excellent and wonderful thing to do. It's another way of doing higher learning. And so I want you to think about Binghamton University as a place that you can work very, very hard. It's a little hard to get into, it's a little rigorous. So your teachers who are wonderful, I know because we've been working with them, listen to them, work with your parents, and know and come and take your place right here at Binghamton University. I hope that we'll see you here one day. So two things. One, your story matters, and you're standing on some great shoulders from Harriet Tubman to Martin Luther King Jr., and two, you belong here. This is your place, and we hope that you'll come and take your place in a few years. Give yourselves a hand. With that said, I am really happy to introduce Dan Hand, who is the great-great-great-grandson of Stephen Hand, who was an Underground Railroad conductor. And I'm just thrilled that he and his daughter are here, and he's going to say a couple of words. And very soon after that, we're going to start walking that trail.
Good morning, everybody. I wasn't really sure what to say today, but basically, I didn't even know my great-great-great-grandfather was a conductor until about 24 years ago. My dad and I came out to Binghamton. We knew that he was buried here, and that my great-great-great-grandfather Stephen was buried here, and we wound up finding out at the family center at the library that he was a conductor. Conductors on the Underground Railroad were very, very important, and it was a very dangerous job for them. They had to worry about getting beaten, to actually have wind up as far as with legal proceedings against them, and it was very dangerous. But that doesn't underscore what they did. They helped slaves get the freedom, and the slaves are the ones that really had the dangerous time trying to get freedom. It's very exciting and humbling to be invited here to speak for this. And I'm excited to be able to see the markers And I think that everybody understanding that where we've come as a country and where we're going, and just remembering things like this, and understanding that the people that have put their lives on the line to help people get freedom is the most important thing for our country. And I thank you very much, and I appreciate being invited, and look forward to the rest of the day.
Ready to walk? Ready to walk. Not quite yet. Just one more very, very important business that we have today. And that is, many of you, I know I've seen you at last April, we had a big expo of the 5 sculptors who were our 5 finalists for creating the Harriet Tubman sculpture. And many of you, in fact, almost more than 600 of you, I believe, voted, if you will, for your favorite, and you were very specific about what you liked and so forth. And so we are here to say, Sharon, would you help me? Thank you. That the choice has been made, and we want to particularly thank the Public Art Committee of the Harriet Tubman Center, because that was about 7 or 8 people who did help us in this process. And the choice is you're good. Yeah. You may remember, this was Miss Zoe Dufour. And we have her right here with us, well, at least via Zoom in California. She will be joining us in September. And before she says a few words, I just want to say something about her stellar background and resume. What I'd like to say about Zoe is that she is a sculptor who specializes in figurative work and portraiture. And her goal, she says, is to spark a relationship between the viewer and the sculpture. She is particularly committed to public art, and she's really interested in people seeing themselves, everyone seeing themselves in those who are celebrated or those who are inspirational. She says in her bio, as a Chinese-American woman in the United States, I have benefited enormously from the courage, conviction, work, and life of Harriet Tubman and those who fought for freedom and equity for all. So we are just, she has, her work is in many distinguished places, including the Smithsonian, the Museum of American Revolution, and so forth, and various universities. So she is amazing, amazing artist, and you helped us choose her. And with that, I turn it over to Ms. Zoe Dufour. Welcome, Zoe.
Thank you for that beautiful introduction. I'm so happy to be with you virtually today. And it's been incredibly meaningful to have been selected as the artist who's called Harriet Tubman. She's a true paragon of courage, tenacity, and conviction. As an artist, I want to contribute to the American landscape by honoring individuals like her who exemplify the very best of humanity and who have often been underrepresented in collective history. The way she lived inspires us, and this monument of her is a way to keep her legacy powerfully alive. Like Anne mentioned, I truly want to tell the stories of people who light the way to how we can contribute to our communities and our history. I've sculpted her with an expression of determination, worry, and hope on her face, with her right fist clenched to show the force of her resolve. Her skirt is blowing in a headwind to symbolize the adversity she has had to struggle against, and she's holding a lantern high in her right hand, looking out to the future as a leader and a guide, walking forward and inviting and inspiring the viewer to work towards a brighter future together. Harriet Tubman offers an example of how much an impact an individual can have on our communities, and being a part of creating her tribute is a privilege. She was a visionary, and I'm so honored to be able to work with the Harriet Tubman Center for Freedom and Equality and Binghamton University on this monument of her. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Zoe. And we can't wait. That's all we can say. The actual sculpture will be done about 1 year from now, around this time, or a little bit later than that, but certainly by the end of the academic year next year in 2025. So thank you so much in advance for what you're about to do and what you are doing.
Oh, thank you so much.
And now, without further ado, and I have to say thank you for being so patient, fifth graders. You're much more patient than I would have been at your age. Can I say we are about to go and walk a part of the trails. Harriet Tubman. As the Underground Railroad's most famous conductor, Tubman was first motivated by the sale of her sisters. In her own words, she could still see the agonized expression on their faces. She went on to help countless slaves find freedom in upstate New York and Canada, among other groups. Later, she served in the Union Army in the Civil War as a nurse, a spy, and a soldier. She was a woman of faith, a suffragist, an herbalist, and a great steward of the land, a heroine of her time and for all time.
And this is the second stop, Elias Hawley, an abolitionist in Binghamton. As an Underground Railroad conductor, the heroic Hawley helped move runaways through the city's safe houses. Along with Dr. Stephen Hand, he co-founded the Broome County Anti-Slavery Society in 1838. He was also part of a pioneering network of abolitionists called the American Missionary Association. They bravely advocated for the enslaved freedom fighters aboard the Amistad ship, who staged one of the most famous revolts in history in 1839. Hawley's original house was at 20 Washington Street.
We have the marker for Stephen Hand, who's an abolitionist, physician, conductor, and co-founder of the Broome County Anti-Slavery Society. Hand was a well-known abolitionist in Binghamton. In spite of opposition, he shielded enslaved runaways. Here near the confluence, held sacred by Native American populations, he forged strong partnerships in New York State and Montrose, PA. Though the road ahead would not be easy, each stop brought the enslaved closer to freedom.